What up? You are here with your friend and God's boy Josh. Hi. How's it going? Let's turn some more lights on here. Okay. So we're back in the kitchen right now, and we've got some New York strips from Costco. Okay. So a lot of you guys probably a little daunting to do steak, especially when you're dropping like 60 bucks or more. And in Costco, you have to buy it in bulk, or you're not getting any. So I'm going to show you how to season these bad boys. It's really not that complicated. Now, you could just go with like garlic salt. First off, let's start here. Salt and pepper, okay? This is all you really need. But I would also add some garlic salt. I would recommend some garlic salt, some salt and pepper. But there's some pre-made blends like this. This is from Kinder or Kinders, whatever you want to call it. And it's the blend. It's salt, pepper, and garlic. Now, I don't like this logo, but it is what it is, dude. This is salt, pepper, and garlic, okay? This is the steak blend. This is fire, okay? But we're going to kind of combine a lot of things here together. But basically, what's important is that you get some nice seasoning on there. And you want bigger you want bigger salt crystals if you can get your hands on them, okay? Now, if you can't, you can't. It is what it is. But it actually creates this really nice crust when you use bigger salt crystals. Like these ones, for instance, are too small. I'm just going to use them to accent some salt in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my smaller. See, now if you look closely, smaller. Take a look here. I'll bring it up to you. Small, okay? Not big. So that's going on my base initially with the meat. Start on one side. Now, I'm obviously doing some meal prep here because I'm going to have a lot of steak. So now, I'm going to get the smaller salt. I'm going to add just a little bit. Remember, there's already salt in this other stuff too. Don't go overboard, but a lot of this is going to get cooked off. And it's going right into the meat right now as well. That's why you want to start seasoning 20 to 45, up to hours. Up to hours before you're going to put it on the grill. But at least, give yourself at least 20 minutes. Now, we could use this, you see what I'm saying? And notice, it's bigger, see that? It'll help create your crust. But since I already have the garlic in other things, I'm not going to force that. So now we're going to go, was there another one I wanted to use too? Okay, now we're going to go with some pepper. And the pepper's going to be bigger, watch. It's going to be bigger, see? So that's going to help create that crust, and it's going to give a lot of flavor. Don't over pepper, but don't under pepper. It's going to be that's kind of going to be my pro tip for everything. And yeah, my shirt's kind of dirty right now because I just threw one on. I'm going to go hot tub while I cook these. And we're going to go over an important part of this whole shebang in a second here. But we're going to get some nice pepper coverage there. And I'll move the camera for you because I love you guys. See, that's what we're looking like so far. And there's Bear. Hi, Bear. He's playing with his toy. And I left that hoodie on the ground because I threw it on Bear as a joke, but... Oh, he's stalking. Hey, he's stalking it now. Bear's gonna get it. Look at him go. Now, that toy hasn't moved in moments, but Bear knows that it's there, and he is going for the attack. Oh, there he goes. He's got it now. Oh, my goodness. It's slowly evading him. And that, oh, he's brought it right in just like that. Can you believe it? Amazing. Bear is got it now. Oh, and he's running away. Oh, and he's coming back. Oh, he's going for it now. That's a fun toy for Bear. What a predator. Okay, so check it out. Back to our meat here. I'm just going to add a little more of this, too. Ooh, Bear just flew it into the air. Okay, so this one, a lot thicker. See this? Take a look. This is going to make our crust. So I really like this. It's the steak blend, but you can go with whatever you like. And if we were just doing salt and pepper, we would want a coarser salt, okay? And it would look like this. You'd want to get some salt on there, dude. You want a nice crust. And I'll show you what we're going to do with our overflow spices in a second. It's actually important that some spices fall off. Now, you don't want to over-season, but you don't want to under-season either. And you can always add more seasonings after you cook it, okay? So, once we're to this point, we're going to press in. Press in. See what we're doing here? We're pressing the seasoning into the meat, okay? And make sure it's well seasoned here. Hold on. And if you touch the meat, you gotta wash your hands. It's a pain in the butt, but it's okay. Keep a little soap thing. Keep a little soap thing right there, and just wash your hands. It's okay. Yeah. So, and it's totally okay if your hands are wet. It doesn't matter. So I've done this a lot. I know exactly what I'm looking for on spice coverage, because a lot of this gets cooked off and turns into a crust. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the end. And I'm going to show you how to cook it as well on a gas grill. But it would be the same on any other grill. You just got to set it up. I'm going to go with a little more pepper here. You're so cute there. Okay, now I'm pressing it in again. And that's about the coverage I want. I'll show it to you in a second on what we're looking at here. And then I'll show you what our next move is going to be. These can become drums if you want to, dude. You do whatever you want with that. Okay. Quick hand wash off here. Get all the soap off your hands because you're going to touch the meat again. And if you didn't want to touch the meat right here, pro tip, get yourself a pair of grabbers. I got to clean these off real quick. They're kind of dirty. I was doing chicken with them. If you don't want to wash your hands like a zillion times, but you're probably going to have to anyway, just flip them to the other side. And all those spices that fell, that's fine. We're going to do something with those. Don't worry about those. But you can see here what it looks like on that side. It's going to be super nice and crusty. We're going to grill these on high for about 90 seconds each side. I'll show you. You're going to see the whole process when we get to it. Okay, so now we're just redoing this part again. So remember, these are my smaller crystals here. Salt crystals. There's a little bit of pepper in here and a little bit of garlic salt. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a covering here with this. And these are really good flavors. And remember, you can always try your flavor. It's very garlicky. It's salty, and it's a little bit of pepper. Not a lot of pepper in that. I'm going to add some fresh ground pepper. And keep in mind, this is going to be bigger. Spice. It's going to create a crust. That's what we want. We want to make a crust on the outside of the steak. When we grill it on high, you're going to see it's going to be beautiful. And that's why we're doing this in the pan, the cookie sheet or whatever you want to call this thing I'm using. I use these constantly for all kinds of stuff. Super useful. If you don't have one of these, get one. See how it has this little ridge here? You need that. I love cooking bacon in these as well in the oven. And then if you were going to use something like this, hit it. But I've already applied garlic with this. This has plenty of garlic in it. I was just giving you an example. You don't need that. This, with this alone, would work just fine. You don't need all this stuff. I like this a lot. I'm willing to work a couple extra hours every day to have the stuff I want. That's a choice you're going to have to make. And just garlic salt and pepper with normal salt is going to be fire. By the way, I wanted to add just a little bit of pink Himalayan salt in here. Now you'll get good at this, and you'll know when you're over seasoning it or under seasoning it. But I know the whole process. I know what it looks like when it's done. I know what it tastes like when it's done. And the important thing is not to put too much salt. But if you're using the bigger salt crystals, like I said, they're going to come off. They're not going to come off. They're going to turn into a crust. And it's going to be fire. And you see how thick these cuts are? Don't use super thin cuts. You want nice, chunky cuts here. We would season it differently if it was a thinner cut. We don't really want a thinner cut. This is like a 3/4 of an inch probably, or almost an inch. Solid, dude. The thicker the cut, the better, but you don't want to go too thick either. I mean, I've had ones that are like freaking 2 inches, dude. It just changes the way you have to cook them. I don't really like to cut those in half if they're that thick. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit more here. Normally I only pat with one hand, and then what is my, I guess I always use both. Okay, I'm going to go with a little bit more here. Then we're gonna get some more pepper on that. And I'll show you up close once we've completed. And you'll notice when you get good at this, there's spots you didn't hit. I didn't hit right here. I want this crust on the whole steak. It's fire. Okay, so check it out. We're gonna pat it down again. And then I'll show you what this looks like. I actually am noticing that I want to hit it with a little more pepper. The cool part about washing your hands over and over again is don't touch where the spices come out, but it's okay if they're a little wet. You don't need to dry them every time. And that moisture helps pat the spices down anyway. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do now. If you're doing it like I'm doing it, you've gathered your spices with your pan on the bottom. Go ahead and take your steaks that have now been seasoned on both sides, and we're gonna gather these spices that are on the bottom. I'm making a steak stack right here. You don't have to do it like that. And if you're just cooking 1 or 2 pieces of steak, it's the same thing. So see what I'm doing? I'm now using a piece of steak almost like a cleaning tool here. I'm brushing it, okay? And we didn't really do that much seasoning down here, if you look. Just a little bit. But now what we're going to do is this. This is the part where one hand needs to be clean to touch the spices, and the other hand needs to be on the meat. Or you could be using grabbers if you want to hold the meat up, but I'll just touch it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it. And this is just your garlic salt and your salt right here. And I'm just going to get a light coat on all the edges. Then I'm going to hit it with this. And it's okay if we spill spices because we're going to use them on the other pieces. We really didn't have enough for me to show you. Then we're going to pat that in, see with the hand that's not clean. Well, it's still clean, but it's just touching meat. So I'm considering it dirty in context to that. And then we're going to hit the other side. See that? And we're going to pat that down. And now this one is a completed seasoned piece here. See this? So we're going to put that over here. We'll try to not block your view, but it is what it is. So that's completed. That one's done over there. And now we're going to go to our next one, and we're going to do the same thing. This is important because it adds a lot of flavor. And like I said, don't start grilling it until your spices have been on there for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Even up to a couple hours, I like. I don't really go beyond that, and there's other ways you can season your meat as well. This is New York strip, so it's just fire when you get it on the grill like this. Then we're going to do the other side. And as you can see, where those spices were on the bottom, I put the meat right on them, so a lot of it already has seasoning. So boom, there's another piece down. That's a big thick boy right there. So we'll put this one over here. And I'm just going to use it. And then look, when you do that, look at that. See that? Fire, dude. It's going to be really good. Okay, now we're going to get our next piece. And you're just going to repeat the process. But look, see what we're going to do on this one? I'm going to show you the technique now. You're gonna just go right down on it like that. That's going to press it in. See that? And then you're going to do the other side. And you can bring your spices over if they're getting like into a corner. Just bring them over. Then hit the top and the bottom. Don't play yourself. Get it all. Get all the spots. And then look at that. See this one? See that? Okay. And then I'm going to stack this one right over here. And then now I've got to clean this in because I touched meat with it. I've become an expert at a one-hand wash here. And then we're going to hit this side with... And shout out to Costco because you can get really affordable meat. This was $9.99 a pound. Now I don't get to have steak that often, but since I live by myself right now, when I have steak from Costco, you could freeze a couple pieces and cook a couple pieces. I don't like to do that. I'm just going to eat steak for the next couple days. That's fine with me. And then I'm going to hit this side. And the thicker spice, whatever you choose to go with, could just be big thick pepper, big thick salt, is going to create a crust. That's important. And I actually like to do this technique. I normally do it on every piece because it just helps press the spices into the meat, the top and the bottom. So there you go. Take a look at it. You can see some spices are falling off. That's why we press them too. And you can even repress this and this if you want to. And this is a textured pan. So when I press into it, it's helping to push it in good. So then I'm just going to put this over here. And then we have one piece left here. So I think I have enough spices here just to get this one, but I'm not 100% sure because I'm kind of running low. But I'm going to do my best. Because you'll see, like, at the end, look, all of our spices are on the meat now. See that? So I'm going to, and I have some hidden over here. Some secret spices locked away. So I'm hitting that. And let me get the top and the bottom here. There you go. And see that? It's like a nice blend. See that? Okay. So there you go. See that? So there, now we've spiced our meat. And you might notice some spots you want to hit again after the whole process is done. There might be a couple spots you want to hit again. Like in this case, I want to get a little pepper on here. You'll get an eye for this too. Actually, go. That piece is actually perfectly done. Because a lot of, looks like a lot of this spice came off or went into the meat. And I want to make sure I have that nice crust. Okay, so now we're done. I'm going to press that in. But if you look at our pan now, we've mostly used all of our spices. And whatever's left, when I put the meat on the grill, I'm going to knock it into the meat. So there you go, dude. We've spiced these bad boys up, and now they're ready for grilling. We're going to let them sit for 20 to 30 minutes. Then we're going to hit it. Here's what I like to do. Okay? I live in an apartment that has a community hot tub. All right? It's one hot tub. There's like hundreds of people living here. It's not that luxurious. It's not that it's not a nice apartment. It is. And I'm happy to live here. But I'm just saying, I'm going to go sit in the jacuzzi while these season up. And I'm going to get the grill heated up at the end of that process. So you're going to be back out there with me in a minute. This won't take you 20 minutes when you're doing it on your own. That's because I recorded it. I could have busted this out in 5 to 10 minutes, okay? And you're probably not going to do this much meat. I'm one person. Maybe you're cooking for 2. Maybe you're cooking for 3. You're probably going to do 1 piece of meat per person. I could have just done 1 or 2 here. Would have taken a couple minutes. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, okay? So, these are ready though. Take a look at those. They're ready for the grill. And now, you kind of get the gist of how to season your steak. This is a New York strip. You do a ribeye the same way. You do the same way. And I'll show you how to do a roast, low and slow, in your crock pots as well. How to season those. How to, all the terminology is slipping my mind. It's evading me right now. But what we do is before we put it in the roast, what adds a lot of flavor is we sear it. That's the word I was looking for. So even with these, they're going to be seared when we put them on the grill initially, okay? And they're going to be fire because this is going to make a nice crust. That's why I want thicker spice pieces when we're seasoning this, because it's going to form the crust. You're going to see what I'm talking about soon enough. So, with that being said, with the spices now going into our meat, all that flavor, we're going to take them out. I'm going to go sit in the hot tub for a while, and then we're going to grill, okay? And it's going to be delicious. You're going to love it. So there you go. That's how to spice your meat. And then I was in the middle of saying something, and I totally went off on my own tangent like I always do. And I forgot what I was going to say. But you would do a ribeye the same way, sirloin the same way, whatever you're cooking. You want a thicker cut. Now, if this was a thin cut of meat, it's going to change everything. That would be over spicing it. It would be, it'd be gross. The way this is done, the way my technique is done, okay? At the very end, we put butter on the meat after it's grilled. While it's still hot and it's cooling down, that butter's gonna melt in. It's gonna make this saucy butter sauce. And those extra spices are gonna come off into the butter. And it's gonna make a nice, delicious butter sauce, y'all. So there's a lot going on here, and I'm going to be using grass-fed butter. And again, Costco, get a Costco membership. You'll save more money with a Costco membership than you will going to Walmart. I'm not kidding. A lot of people don't do the math. I'll do it for you. This is $5. $5.42 at Costco, okay? For 48 eggs, okay? If you want to go with the brown organic eggs, this is about $5 for a tub of freaking cream cheese, okay? At Costco. Go to Walmart, that's like $10, $12, dude. These eggs are, in my opinion, better eggs. They're $7.42. You're going to pay a couple bucks more, you're going to get better eggs. Now, when I went and bought the white eggs, they didn't have the brown ones in stock, so I was forced to go with that. I'm going to eat them out. I'm not mad about it. I'm actually going to have some over easy eggs with this steak. Shout out to Binks. What up? Hi. So, with all that being said, we're ready for the next step. But keep in mind, this is all going to go together. And it's going to make a fire meal for you and yours. Or maybe it's just you like me. And I'm not giving Binks any. You don't want no steak, huh? No? You don't want no steak, huh? No. All right, y'all. I'll see you soon.